are we going to keep our great interception debate going. Had somebody say, okay, now do Trevor Lawrence's interceptions. Okay, I want you to see he had 3 interceptions in this game. Show me what happened. You know, a lot of people are on Trevor a little bit. He does so many good things, and then every game there seems to be a handful of plays that you just keep scratching your head. And in this game, did some good things, and then has the 3 interceptions. And so everybody's like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, so let's take a look at the first one here. Just a designed hard play action fake. Okay, get everything you want here. Hard play action fake. We get everybody up here. There is nobody back here for the throw. Play design, perfect. Read, perfect. Okay, but there's going to be an interception. Okay, and the first part of it is, and I played with this guy. This man's a giant. Okay, this guy's like 7'5". Really, I think he's 6'8". But that's Calais Campbell. And so Calais Campbell down here in the red zone doesn't get a pass rush, sees the arm go forward. He is going to get his big mallet up, big hands up, and tip this thing. And the tip makes this thing probably an interception. I can't really tell where the ball's going here and will it be perfect or not. But he tips it, and now it goes behind his receiver and right to the DB and leads to interception number 1. Okay? So down in the red zone. Once again, young quarterbacks down in the red zone. Don't try to throw through guys if you don't have to. So if you have something that's working to the back of the end zone, throw it to the back of the end zone. Don't try to drive it and throw it through bodies because there's bodies everywhere, okay? There's defensive linemen, of course, but there's linebackers, there's safeties oftentimes, but there's bodies. So you try to throw it through them, and again, everything's tighter down here. You try to throw it through them, you try to throw it with a lower trajectory, okay? And all it takes is somebody getting their hand on it, and it becomes a negative play. So when you get down here into the red zone, you're always thinking up and over. You're always thinking, and you know, I talked about it in another one of my videos with Brock Purdy, but as we get closer to the goal line, these guys, safeties and corners, want to squat more at the goal line because they know you don't have that much space between the goal line and the back end line to get the ball up and over them. So they want to force you to throw it up and over them. You know, they want to make it harder on you. Like if they play way back here, you know, if this corner drops back and plays 2 yards from the end line, he's just making it easy on you with all the space in front of him. So they're going to squeeze that and they're going to play the goal line and they're going to force you to make a perfect throw over the top of them. As the quarterback, I understand that. So when I get down into the red zone, I'm telling myself, put air under the ball and get it up and over. So none of these guys, defensive linemen, safeties, linemen, anybody can make a play on it. We're going to run a quick post. I get the exact read that I want. This ball needs to go up and over 2 yards from the back end line. So it's my guy or nobody. I want it over the top of my guy so he catches, tap, tap, touchdown. Trevor trying to drive this a little bit more. Gets batted, and now it becomes an interception, right? You see it right there. We won. We got everything we wanted. Everybody pulled up. Man, just lay this thing right there. Lay this thing right there. Okay, maybe we miss, but if we miss, and it's not an interception. It's only my guy or nobody. We got everything we want, but by driving the football here, instead of putting it up and over, we get it tipped, and it becomes interception number 1. All right, here we go to interception number 2. All right, so they're going to run, okay, what I call a wrap. So it's a quick in route right here. And then it looks like this guy here is going to run a return. Okay, so he's going to start out and then he's going to come back inside. So the idea is whoever's playing the hook area of the field, okay, so this area right here, when we break out, we want to try to get them to pull out with us, open up the window back behind it, and take it, okay? So when I do this, I like to turn and just go now and get width right off the bat and run more of a hook than I like to push up here. Okay, Kurt, what's the difference? Okay, when I push up inside, okay, I keep the defender inside. Okay, if my body's there, he's going to stay there. If my body goes outside and he's responsible for me, Okay, so if I get width like this, and this guy is responsible for me, and he sees me getting width, he's got to go try to match to my width. So I want to create width right off the bat and create movement by that guy. Also, what it does for the quarterback is if the quarterback comes out and he knows that my guy is going to get width right now, then he can read this guy if he gets width right now. So if he doesn't get width and he stays in there on the hash, just take this throw right here. If he gets width and has to push to where he's going to take away that hook, now we open up a bigger window for the end. Now we're trying to get to the same thing by pushing up and going out here, but look at the difference of time that it takes if I go there right now versus push up and then go out and then come back in. There's a difference in how quickly I get to that spot and how quickly this guy has to react to it. Okay, so that's the first part of it. But with all that being said, okay, you can see that that guy is moving with width. He's coming from here and he's moving with width. So that's what Trevor sees. He sees movement with width. Boom. I'm going to hit this back inside. Okay. Boom, right there. He is committed to throw because this guy has gotten outside the hash. He thinks he's going to hit this inside the hash and he's going to be good to go on this particular play. Another really good defensive play where that guy gets width and then boom, right there, bang. He feels the route back behind him and right as Trevor's starting to throw it, he breaks and undercuts this in route. I mean, it's a really, really good play. It looks like he's getting width and going to match to that hook, okay? And then he falls off at the last second and takes it away. But here's the thing, right? Right here, he's taking away, he's got the ability to take away both of them. Because we pushed up vertically, right? Trevor's not thinking, oh, I can take that right now because obviously this guy's going to break out and then return back in here. But I want to force that guy to cover me right off the bat. So I want to get out here right off the bat. And I'm going to hope that this guy is going to jump outside of me because he's the one that's playing the flat there as I get width. Now, they could easily have 34 jump the hook and this guy still fall in here. Yes, they can, but we're trying to attack what we believe responsibility is. So 34's responsibility is to the flat. So when I get width, I'm going to expect him to expand and get outside of me. So now I can have leverage on him for the hook. And the only guy that can take the hook away is this guy here. And you notice I am 3 or 4 yards wider by widening right now with my hook. So I can pull that guy 3 or 4 yards wider, or he's got to get 3 or 4 yards wider to cover it. If I get him 3 or 4 yards wider, then what's going to happen? He's not going to make this interception. Okay? He's not going to be able to make it right here. 3 or 4 yards wider, boom. He's not. We're going to get this and we're going to squeak this by him. But another really good defensive play. To me, I would like to see the route changed a little bit. Right? Do you see how number 34 stays outside of number 80 on this play? So same thing. We go right here right now. This guy should push to stay outside of me. Now I get what I want off of this inside guy. I've stretched him. I've forced him to cover ground, width, and depth, and a better chance to get a quality read for my quarterback. Here, I see, if you're watching and you played the quarterback position, you see exactly why he's thinking, I've got this in lane right here. Because this guy got outside the hash, and I'm going to wrap this right inside of him, and we're going to be good to go. And he commits, and that guy does a great job of reading the eyes, planting the foot, feeling what's coming behind him, turning inside, and making the interception right there. So we can say a lot of different things. You can put it on Trevor if you want, but this game is played fast. And we're reading body language. And when we read body language and we see that movement, now I've got to commit to finding my receiver. And man, I believe he took his eyes off that defender because he got the movement that he wanted. He took his eyes off that defender so he could get the throw on time. And that defender saw that, planted his feet, and made a great break on the football. So again, sometimes it's just really good defense. I don't know if there's a whole lot Trevor could have done different with the way they designed that concept to get any more of a move from that guy. Like that guy's not going to turn and run outside the tight end because he's got help outside. So all I'm trying to do is get him to move with that guy and get outside the hash. He did, and then he planted his foot and made a great play. Okay? All right, here's the next one. Okay, this is a play that we used to call sticks. Okay, so what it is we're going to push three guys. Okay, this guy's going to go to the middle of the field. This guy's going to widen, or number 2 is going to widen, and he's going to go in between the hash and the numbers, and then the outside guy is going to push way out here outside the numbers and run a comeback. Okay, so that's the play. We're going to try to overload 2 underneath defenders to the strong side. Okay, so you see it. We've got 2 underneath defenders to that side. Okay, now a lot of people teach this, read it inside out. I like to read it outside in. But I'm not sure that makes a huge difference on this particular play, but you're going to see it. Okay, so we come out here and you see what Trevor's getting. Okay, so this guy is matching outside to the comeback. So that would be the first guy that I would read on this play. So I get him outside. So I'm thinking this number 2 guy right here. Okay, and then I'll work inside if this guy works outside. But that guy, it actually does a pretty good job because he's just kind of midlining it. Okay, he's kind of mid between those 2 guys. But if you're looking at this picture right here, you're going to say, I got a hard buzz out here, and this guy's tucked in enough that I'm going to hit that number 2 guy. So again, like, this is a bang bang, tough play here, but I think the Cardinals play this as well as you possibly can. And even with this, boom, gets the ball out, right? He's committing to throw right there, okay? There's a window there. Now again, anticipation is so key, especially on these throws. Love the ball to be out before he turns. Like, you know where he's going to go, and you just let it go. And so when he turns around, the ball's halfway in the air because this is a tight window throw. It's going to be tight with 2 defenders to that side because there's just not a lot of space right there. We're hoping that this guy clamps to that and this guy buzzes hard and he makes it easy. But when they play it really well like they do here, you got to anticipate just a little bit. And boom, look at, and another, throw's probably going to be right on the money, and a great job extending and making the play, reading the eyes and breaking on the throw right here. There's just not a whole lot you can do different, okay? Now, here's my coaching point on this play, all right? If you guys follow me or follow me on QBConfidential.com, I will use a lot of term, or I will use the term a lot. I want to force the defense to cover width and depth. I want to force the defender to cover width and depth. When I only force them to cover one or the other, it makes the game easier on the defense. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. See these 2 guys? They are at exactly the same depth. Okay, they're at exactly the same depth. And remember I called this sticks? Where are they? Both guys are at the sticks. We want to complete this and get a first down right here. Okay, so we're trying to get both guys to the sticks. So if we complete either one of them, we've got a first down. But in doing that and keeping both of those guys at the same depth, what does it do? It allows this guy right here to only have to cover width. He's no longer worried about somebody getting behind him or pushing his depth a little bit. And so in allowing that to happen, what's he able to do here, right? He does not have to come back down to cover this. He does not have to get more depth somewhere to cover one of these guys. He can stay right at the sticks as well, and he can break on this. So Kurt, what would you do? What I would do is I would change the depth of these 2 guys. Okay, so whichever way I want to do it. Okay, so we can put the inside guy, okay, we can have him run right here and get a little bit deeper. Okay, so if I can get a little bit deeper and I get this guy to carry a little deeper with me, and then the next guy is underneath him, he no longer can just cut straight sideways to steal it. Now he's got to cover width and depth. And so he's got to break, and he's got to break back, and he's got to cover ground back towards the line of scrimmage as well as being able to cover distance from his spot to the sideline. Okay, so you push this guy a little bit deeper, and then you stop this guy a little more shallow, so you can try to get this guy to carry just a touch deeper, and if he carries a touch deeper, he probably doesn't make this play. Okay, or you could do the opposite, and you could put this guy right here and put him just a little bit short. Okay, so you put him a little bit short, and then you put this guy a little bit deeper than him, a couple yards deeper than him. Okay, now you get one of two things. Okay, so A, if this guy midlines it, the inside guy comes open first, and you put it on him, and he can turn the corner and get those 2 extra yards. But if you can get him to squat his feet there at that shallower depth, and now this throw is going to be a deeper throw. Okay, so let's just say the DB is right here. Okay, and now the throw going out here to this guy, it's a harder angle, knowing you want to try to get that intersecting point, that if he tries to just go straight width right here, he's probably going to miss the football right there. If he's breaking on this throw, he's probably going to miss it because of his depth. So he's going to try to get back here and try to undercut this route, and it makes it harder when a defender has to figure out the perfect angle and break on it. Here, there is no figuring out an angle. He is simply turning sideways and running to the sideline. Boom, running to the sideline, and that angle allows him to simply just cut in front of the receiver. Okay, let's say this receiver is shorter. We're going to send this guy to the sticks. Okay, he's going 10 yards. You're going 8 yards. So we're going to complete that at 8 yards, and once this guy gets to 10 yards and we're at 8, again, a completely different angle for him to have to figure out the perfect angle to undercut this throw and be there on time instead of just going straight sideways. And we catch that at 8, and we're going to believe that, again, we're throwing it around these guys. So we catch it at 8, we're going to catch this, and we believe we're going to be able to fall forward and turn forward for the 2 extra yards. So not putting everybody at the same depth helps, okay? So here's a good example just on the outside. We're going to run a deeper comeback on the outside. So this guy continues to drop because he feels that guy getting deeper than what he is. And so he's worried about, taking it away and being able to throw it over the top of him. So he's going to continue to drop with depth. So when he does that, right, he's in no position anymore to be able to undercut this. So even if he was flat-footed right there, so he had gotten to the depth, the same depth as, that receiver, so to speak, and he had to try to come and undercut this. We want to make him go through us, through the receiver, to make this play. All right, so another really, really good play. Little details that can help. Of course, we're always telling our receivers when you turn on a curl route, come back to the quarterback. Come back to the quarterback. We want to try to, again, prevent this guy from being able to undercut us on this play. So if he's going to be at the same depth and I'm going to break, and again, ball's coming already, put that foot in the ground and try to come back so that guy has to come through us. Okay, so if this receiver is able to just come back a little bit here, does he cut off this defender enough where the defender has to hit him before he can get to the football? I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I'm not sure. I mean, again, another really good play, in my opinion, by the Cardinals defense. Could have been a tick faster by Trevor. I think the play design where trying to mess with guys and their width and depth could definitely help as well. But this was just a perfect played picture, I believe, by this Cardinal defender right here to sit in between both of them and then read the eyes of Trevor Lawrence and make the perfect break. And again, we allowed him to just make the perfect sideways break. If this guy is 2 yards shallower, I do not believe this guy makes this interception. So something that small in a play design can have huge ramifications on the outcome and the result of a play.